Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of the Mayor's Take. I'm your host, Daryl Hall, and we have the one, the very own Mayor Stephen L. Reed. How are you doing on today?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. It's a beautiful Friday morning. The pollen has calmed down. I got a question. Do you have allergies?
I do.
Do you really?
Yeah, they haven't. But listen, I got on this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I would not be caught off guard. I would not be the one sneezing.
Right.
So I'm hoping that stays the case.
I hope so. I know the rain as weather kind of washed everything out, but I got trees around my house. My car is covered with pollen, so I'm gonna need a car wash here soon. I don't know.
I just told my son this morning. I dropped him off. I said, if you don't do anything on Wednesdays from now on, you're gonna be washing this car.
I understand.
Just understand that.
So on this beautiful Friday, I want to go do something a little bit different with you on today.
Okay.
I'm gonna want to pick your brain on your favorites, your top picks.
All right.
I want the full honesty of it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, I want to hear why you don't like it.
Okay.
Let's
Fair
start
enough.
it off. Number 1, TV shows. Martin the Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
Why? Over Martin?
Yeah.
Gina.
You know what? Marvin was great. Marvin was. I got so many lines. Hustle Man, all the characters.
Yeah.
I like Fresh Prince. I'm gonna tell you why. Because Fresh Prince, to me, showed an aspirational kind of Huxtable type family.
Yeah.
And at the time on TV, there weren't a lot of middle class, upper middle class black families being shown probably since the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I listen. Now, you ask who's the funnier person, Martin Lawrence, hands down.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
seen Martin in person countless times
Yes.
as a comedian. But as a show, I just appreciated what Fresh Prince brought versus what Hollywood was showing of us during that time period. But no, listen, I'm thinking right now of lines and, what was my man, the character he played, Ronnie Rome.
Yeah.
All the characters that Martin played. I mean, this is before Tyler Perry, was
Correct.
doing this,
Started
right?
all that. Yeah.
Now my uncles would say he was doing what Flip Wilson did.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of comedians have done that, but no, man, I can think of Reverend Lonnie Love, Sister Gina. Sister Gina. I can think of a whole lot
remember
of
when
stuff.
the episode with Tracy Morgan was on there.
Oh yeah.
Pick up the pieces.
Right.
So I can get with you. Fresh Prince for me, I think that's kind of more of my generation. I was a little bit younger when Martin first came out, but Fresh Prince was just in my generation of just watching TV. Used to be something called TGI Friday.
Yeah.
Family Matters, Boy Meets World, and all that stuff came on Friday. So I got another one for you.
All right.
Living Single or Friends?
Oh, Living Single.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Let me switch it up. Living Single or Seinfeld?
Now I'm a Seinfeld guy, so I would all my girlfriend, and they would always be like, we're gonna watch over here. You go over there. We were in college and all that stuff.
I couldn't get with Seinfeld.
You couldn't get with Seinfeld?
The show about nothing. I never understood what it was about. They just, I don't know. It was in.
Outside the fact that it was no black folks in the show.
True. Correct.
Outside of that. But listen, a lot of New Yorkers live like that, like a lot of America lives like that. So
right.
That's just what it is. But I always like the dry humor and the satire. That, just kind of making fun of everyday things.
Correct.
The suit Nazi, if you're not in line, a certain way, you don't have your order. Look, I feel that pressure at the restaurant. You don't have your order ready. And it's like, I know everybody behind me, like, now you got
You've
the
been in
same
line the
colors
whole
up here. They got this turkey sandwich, they got this roast beef sandwich. Why you acting like this 20
Something
choice?
new, right.
It's not, I feel that pressure. So when you think about, episodes that were just built on just something very simple, like, hailing the cab.
Right.
Why you had to, call in a certain way in New York.
Right.
Or how you had to place your order at all that stuff was funny to me.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Cosby Show or Sanford and Son?
Wow. Oh, man.
Cosby Show. Now, but while you thinking about it, I heard a joke. Somebody told me, they said, the name of the show was The Cosby Show, but the last name was Huxtable.
Right.
Who was who?
Right. That's a great point.
Man.
Listen, great show, but Norman Lear, who created Sanford and Son and Good Times and all those shows, I got to go with Sanford and Son. I mean, that's just classic comedy, Red Fox. And again, working, kind of working family. Guy's got his own business.
Right.
Junkyard, all the stories that came out of that. And, the one man's junkyard is another man's empire.
Correct.
That's what I remember all my folks talking about. Maybe your junkyard, but it's my empire.
Correct.
So, I got to say that because I covered Fresh Prince, which I think, again, was kind of a, add-on, kind of another addition to the Cosby Show, kind of in that trajectory of showing, again, black families in a different light. But Norman Lear and the way he dealt with racism, the way he dealt with so many social issues of that time with the Jeffersons, Archie Bunker, Sanford and Son. I mean, just a guy that created so many comedies and, sent so many messages through art.
Right.
That I appreciate that. But the Cosby Show obviously has its place and made its impact as well.
Of course.
I mean, listen, we wouldn't be talking about HBCUs.
Correct. The Cosby's had it. Right. Yeah.
He talked about that all the time, would wear the HBCU sweatshirts, whether it was Fisk, Tuskegee, Morehouse,
Fresh Prince had it too.
Yeah,
Will Smith will have like Howard shirts and stuff too. So it was great.
That's when those lines, started to come out and get popularized. So no, you're right about that.
I'm with it. So let's go on your candy. Skittles or Starburst?
Starburst. Watermelon.
I'm gonna try it again. Skittles or Starburst?
I've never been Skittles. Look, in my Halloween, if y'all coming by, my house, we're gonna have some Starburst.
Starburst.
We're gonna have some Starburst.
I give you that. Twix or Reese's?
Twix, easy.
Over the peanut butter cup?
Well, now look, I'll take Reese's Pieces over Twix with the peanut butter.
Reese's Pieces is an imitation M&M. That's all Reese's Pieces is. They tried to find another way.
You know what? I never heard that, but you know what? I like that. I like that. I'm still gonna take the cookie, the caramel, and the chocolate Twix over that.
Now, may not be a good debate for this one. Snickers or Milky Way?
Snickers, all the way. You being contrary, you gonna say Milky Way? Nobody takes Milky Way over Snickers. Who wants that in there? That little bowl at the doctor's office? If you got Milky Way in that bowl at the doctor's office, get that Milky Way. Nobody want that. That's why it's always left.
That's always the last resort.
Right. So then I get there at 4 o'clock, and all I got is Milky Way left.
Right. Everybody took out Snickers. Right.
Got it at 8 o'clock.
Now, this may be a battle of the cities. You got Birmingham, you got Montgomery. Would you take the Turkey Day Classic or the Magic City Classic?
Oh, I'm going to take Turkey Day all day.
All day. I got you.
Listen, I'm going to take Turkey Day. Magic City has gotten commercialized. So Turkey Day still has the down-home, old-school feel. And you got the rivals that's only separated, by about 35 miles or so.
Correct, yeah.
You see each other. Look, it's like that crosstown rival
in
high school. Mm-hmm. When you see that person all the time at church, you see them in the in the grocery store,
the schools, the teachers, everything.
Your parents are kind of somewhat friends, but they ain't really friends.
Right.
So you see them a little bit, at different stuff.
Yeah.
And so back in our day, when you kind of had to run across that person all the time, football and basketball, you couldn't wait to get out there on the field, the court, to make sure because that gave you bragging rights.
Yeah.
But when somebody's from 2.5 hours away, I don't really see you like that. So I got to go with Turkey Day Classic.
Mr. Mayor, I got to be missing. Now, my wife, she got her master's from A&M.
All right.
And you say it's commercialized. A&M has put on some great close games for the Magic City Classic. Now, I'm not a Tuskegee fan. I love the culture of what we do for football and how we come together and the division that we have. It's a happy division.
Right.
Tuskegee people kind of arrogant. I'm going to say it. I love the camaraderie and the pride that they have, but it's something about a Tuskegee fan I just can't get with. A&M, I'm cool.
So Tuskegee folks, you trying to say anything they better than?
I just said you said it. I'm agree with what you said, but it's something about seeing Tuskegee and I love the Piper Band last year when they played Alabama State played one of their fanfares.
Yeah.
Ball and Parlay.
That's right.
And shout out to the Marching Hornets. They played their song and I was so happy. I feel like, Lord, if you want to take me now, you can take me now. But you said the Magic City Classic is more commercialized.
Yeah.
Explain that.
You got all the big corporate tents and suites and all this stuff, so you don't feel it the way we felt it back in, when I was growing up going there every year with my folks. It was big, But it wasn't like it is now where you got, and listen, good for the city of Birmingham.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to Mayor Woodfin and what they're doing. They have made it a great entertainment destination, right?
I see that.
So you got people that come and, you know, they don't know anything about the schools. They don't know anything about the history. Turkey Day Classic, your family's in town, your friends are in town, your neighbors who moved away and came back. Everybody's in town, so you got to show out because you got the parade that morning. Yeah. Then you have, whether you eat before the game. Now, that's the question we ought to be asking. Do you eat before Turkey Day Classic or do you eat after? Do you eat before? That says something about you, or do you eat after? That's more us. Right. So we're going to eat after the game.
Correct.
All right? So, you know, you have all of that going on with the environment, with the tailgate, and just the history of that game and the proximity of folks is a lot different. Not as big. So again, I go back to proximity. Montgomery, Tuskegee, right here. When it's just about 50,000 people versus 100,000 people. 25,000 in the game, 25,000 they ain't even thinking about the game. They outside tailgate.
Right.
Listen, it could be an outdoor barbecue for all they concerned.
Yeah.
You know, when you have that, again, I'm gonna bump into you a lot more. So now, who wins, who loses a little bit more, it means a little bit more. Right. Because after that game, I got to deal with you over Thanksgiving.
Correct.
You know, and then we used to have this whole thing that some of the young Saints may not know called Top Flight.
Yes.
Then it was called a Rose. So, I got to see you there before the game, after the game. I don't really know if I'm going to be feeling the same way after the game as I was before the game. Yeah. So that joke that may have been funny before.
It's not funny no more.
It ain't funny now.
I got you.
I'm just saying that closeness is what takes over the top for me for Turkey Day.
I love it. That is great. And now, we used to go to the Waffle House right down the street from the State Capitol.
That's right.
We try to sneak in there, but now the traffic has got so bad, you can't get in and get out no more.
In there. We try to bring some food trucks for the latecomers. So there'll be some chicken and waffles. There'll be some other things that we'll have out.
I'm with it.
We've gotten that feedback a little bit.
I love it. The greatest debate in sports, LeBron James or Michael Jordan?
Oh, that's MJ. You see it.
You rocking the Jays. LeBron James just hit 40,000 points.
Yeah.
Does that not bring the balance in between the two?
No, there's no balance because you got 6-0 in the finals, and you.
Mr. Mayor.
Look, we had this barbershop debate during my campaign, and listen, throughout all the barbershops in the city of Montgomery, anybody want to have this debate with me, we'll come and sit down. We'll do an IG Live, Facebook Live, whatever y'all want to talk about. There is no debate between MJ and LeBron.
MJ first came in.
And I like LeBron, by the way.
All the greats were getting older. Right. So that first 2 or 3 years.
He helped them get older, too. There's something about youth. You can think you still got it. Like some of y'all out there on the dance floor, y'all talking about boots on the ground. Y'all need to stay away from that. Y'all don't have it y'all don't have it like, say that for the family reunion. Y'all don't have that like everybody else.
I'll say greatest of all time. I'm going to switch it on and off the court.
Okay.
MJ is known for his shoes. He's got some clinics, some medical clinics that are free to the public.
Yeah, he's doing
He's done clinics all over the world, basketball clinics. He helped franchise teams, support teams. He owns teams. But LeBron James has schools, more educational facilities that he's promoted. So even I would say in that aspect, who do you feel, based off what you know between the two, has done more for the community base versus fame?
Yeah, listen, now that's a good one. I think LeBron has socially been, used his platform more. You think about, when Trayvon Martin was killed and the Heat, put on their hoodies. And no one had really taken that type of a stance, at that time till D Wade and LeBron and all those guys. Chris Bosh, all those guys did that. So he has definitely been more active, been more politically involved. He's been willing to take those stands politically. That's why I respect him so much. Right. And he and Rich Paul and Maverick Carter, all those guys from his high school team,
they're still together,
have been able to rise together through business. And a lot of guys kind of do that, and they're kind of one-trick ponies. It's either on that star player, and that's it. But the other ones aren't able to kind of find their niche. And obviously, Rich Paul and those guys have been able to do that. So, no, I think, as it comes to the culture, LeBron has done more for me through his activism, through the things that he has supported, through the causes that he has promoted, along with being, now a billionaire, businessman, and kind of what he wants to do and owning franchises and sports team and all this stuff. And look, I think we talked about this even with, his son. Yeah. I don't have an issue with him bringing his son up. It's just, hey, if you're gonna put your son on the team, he got to be able to deal with the criticism. Now, and that's fine. I think it was
early this week. Lil Bronny showed up.
Yeah.
I think he had like 32 points, 5 assists.
He did.
And the trend that they've been saying, they want the toxic Bronny. And this toxicity that he has, I think a chip is on his shoulder.
Right.
Where he's like, I'm not going to be this clean-cut, good kid.
Yeah.
And I think there's a balance that comes in between that. Be clean, be professional, but you got to have that dog in you.
Oh, you got to have it.
When you hit that court. So, I'm happy to see him doing his thing right now.
Yeah, man.
I'm really happy to see it. Button down or polo, what you prefer?
What am I going there? I got to ask, what's the occasion?
Occasion, Friday, light work day, but you still want to have a professional attire. Would you do a polo with jeans and slacks, or would you do a button down with slacks and pointed toe shoes?
Why you have to put the pointed toe shoes on?
Because it just kind of flows with the button down.
Are you trying to say I wear pointed toe shoes?
I mean, I've got wide feet. I need squares, okay? I got wide feet, so I'm pointed toe, my pinky toe be in the hollow, So you might be a pointed toe type guy.
Look, all right, spring, summer, I'm gonna be polo.
Okay.
Jeans, some khakis or whatever.
Okay.
And some loafers. All right. So
loafers.
I'll take that. Not no pointed toe. I want to make that clarification there real quick.
I got you. Not the wingtips.
Yeah. Not that. So yeah, I'm gonna take that comfort, that cool casual comfort over the button up. And then I wear suits all the time. So anytime I get a chance to get out of them, I'm out.
So. Of course, the suit is part of the attire with your profession and what you do. Do you really like wearing suits, or you just got used to it?
That's another good question. No, I don't know anybody who likes wearing suits.
Really?
But maybe preachers. Well, no, y'all starting to change these days. So I think that now I'm not gonna go so casual all the time. I think there's a place still for the suit,
right?
With style and how you kind of communicate your personality through, how you dress. So I do believe in that, but maybe I got to the point where I'm in them enough, maybe too much that I'm over it.
I'm with it. I understand.
So when we get to kind of summer, you'll see me in City Hall. We don't have anything. Sometimes even if we do, there's going to be a little bit more casual, attire.
Right.
Now, what I've had to understand, my kids kind of helped me with this, is that some things that I think are cool casual aren't cool casual. They may have been in 2020. Mm-hmm. They'll say 2015. And I'm like, my stuff ain't 10 years. My style ain't 10 years old. So they'll be like, look, you need to retire this. You need to, give this away. It's still in good shape.
Right.
Donate this, but you don't need to be wearing it. So now, see, with suits, they can't critique me because they know my suit game is on point.
Really?
And they can't critique me in that.
I'm with you.
So they feel like when it comes to others, that's their way to attack me.
I got you.
That's their way to kind of put me in place. All right, Dan thinks his shirts and ties and sport coats, all that is on point, but he don't know what he's doing when he try to throw on some jeans and some kicks and some.
But you rocking it though.
I think I am, but it would take them to find something wrong between them and my boys.
Yeah.
And our chat group. Now we're not like the Trump administration chat group. Now we know who's in our group.
Right.
We know who's in our chat group. We're not sitting out no chat group with no invitations, no journalists. And I can promise you we're not talking about that. But they will find something in a picture, or they'll find something like this,
right? And
they will point out and they'll blow it up and say, "Why was Reed in this? Why he had this on?" But that's just those are my boys from high school and college. Yeah. They just got to find a way to pick
something.
They're gonna find something to say.
It's always that one.
Oh yeah,
always that one. We talk about cars for a second. Would you take a truck or a sports car?
Sports car. I'm more of a city guy. So when you know, when my day is over, you won't see me. I won't say you won't see me in a SUV, but what I want is a sports car, drop top.
Really?
Yeah. That'll be when everybody's out of college and off the payroll.
It's time.
It's time. That's what I'm gonna do me. So I'm gonna be that old guy and why that. I married old self in that in that convertible because I never had it. And that's what I couldn't get when I was young because my parents wouldn't let me. Then when you start working, you can't afford it. Then you get married,
you got
kids,
space.
You still can't afford it. You need some space. And then you in this thing, it's like, no, you got to go here, and this is how we roll. But no, my car is the
Corvette or Porsche.
Ooh, man. America first. So, see how I switched that up?
Hey, that's smooth. You got it. You got it.
We'll go to Corvette.
Corvette. I'm with you.
No tariffs.
Right. I would take a Corvette because now they're making them look like Lamborghinis.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I mean, the new model Corvette is crazy.
Yeah.
Listen, it is way more elaborate than they used to be. I mean, they have done great. I don't know where they stole those engineers from. Maybe they stole them from Lamborghini. They kidnapped somebody from one of those European companies and said, come make this car here in America. And so that way we don't have people buying those. Because it looks a lot better than what it did 10, 20 years ago.
I'm with it. So now, and just to change up the narrative for a second, I've always wondered, like I do speaking engagements, and I know you do way more speaking engagements before I do. Sometimes people have like a pregame.
Oh, you're a pastor, so y'all talking, y'all and lawyers talk more than politicians.
Hear me, I'm
sorry, and barbers.
Hey,
barbers talk more than anybody.
I will talk about y'all for a second. Cut my hair. Cut my hair.
Hey, we're not gonna call no names on here, but I think I know who you're talking about.
I don't even have no hair, but still, it's like. You want to talk? Stop. I got somewhere to be. Okay? You want to elaborate on something, and I'm late.
He got a philosopher. He got to get your inspirational vitamin. You got to make sure you get through the day.
And I love the fellowship. I love the camaraderie. I love the visuals. I love everything about it. I got to go. Get me out this chair. Take it out back.
Hey,
you know?
Look, come see me when I miss my early morning appointment.
Really?
And everybody's in the shop. Man, it's worse than city council meeting. It's worse than city council meeting. Man, why y'all ain't doing this? When y'all gonna do that?
Right.
You said you were gonna do this. I'm like, man, let me get on out of here real quick.
And let me say this: when I set my appointment, I need to start on time.
Listen, the barber and the doctors don't believe in no appointment time. That's just for you. That's not for them. That's just for you to be there. They can be there. They can be there when they want to be there because guess what? You're not going to leave.
Oh, of course not. I'm not going nowhere.
My doctor can be an hour late. I'm not going to leave.
You got to call everybody in your phone. I'm still at the doctor's office. I can't take it. Cut our hair. Get us out of there. We got somewhere to be. Now, and instead of just doing more than preaching, I do like professional development with like sports teams and high school teams and just try to get them on.
Motivational
speaking.
All
right. And I run my mouth for a living. I'll say it.
Well, give JD some motivation. Jag, I'm sorry. I can't get used to this whole Jag thing here in MPS. That's a whole other issue with me.
Do we want to talk about that right now?
No, listen, I'm going to let you keep going, but give them a little motivation. There's a couple other schools need it, but my old school definitely needs it. So I'm going to have to see if I can connect you with Coach Upchurch over there.
We're going to set that up.
Maybe he can get Coach Saban to come down because he needs somebody.
I ain't got his contact. I got Hugh Freeze contact. I can do some stuff with that.
I don't know about the Auburn Tigers. We'll say that for next time.
We will. Episode 4, we're going to talk about it. So before you get ready to speak, I have a pregame, I want to say ritual, but it's a certain song I got to do. It's a certain cologne. I only wear that cologne when I speak. It gets my mind together where it needs to be. Do you have that? Like before you get ready to speak, are you just so used to it, you just go for it? Or what does that look like before the game?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think one is kind of a little meditation.
Okay.
To make sure that, we may have kind of some prepared remarks. My team will I like my own remarks. And so there's a lot of what I feel and what I've read and what I think the moment calls for. So one is kind of, just kind of clearing your head and just kind of meditating a little bit. Then I think two, depending on the venue, there is that music, but it's not really so much a song. It's just a type of music. So if it is in a church, it's going to be more gospel oriented. It's going to be more praise and worship. It's going to be more in those things that I think kind of put me in the spirit. If it is, more of an upbeat kind of competitive, then it's going to be a little bit more bite in the music. It'll be a little bit more of that. It may be a little bit more aggressive.
I got you.
On that side of, okay, what I want to convey, in that may be political. It may be sports related or any of those things. And then if it's just kind of, informational, it may be a little jazz. It may be, just something that's just kind of even keel in terms of what vibe I want to set. And then for me, I think I try to channel the greats, and I try to channel those history makers and trailblazers, male and female. And it's not all even political. It's business, it's entrepreneurship, it's academics, it's all of those pastors. What type of things can I kind of get in my head that I know motivates me, that may help me motivate and inspire whoever it is I'm talking to.
Right.
Because what I try not to do is just kind of read facts and data, all that stuff. People don't really follow that. People kind of want to hear the energy. They want to hear the spirit in which you're coming. In my, space, we certainly want to convey information about what's happening in the city and in the community, what's to come and what we're doing, or what solutions we have to problems people may bring up. But at the same time, we want to make sure that I want to make sure there's that personal touch that's not just, hey, here's the 3 takeaways, here are the 3 main points. What's the context, and then what's kind of the backdrop of which I'm giving the message, and hopefully that takes you out of there saying, well, I'm glad I heard Stephen Reed speak. I would want to hear him again. I kind of want to follow up on this book he mentioned, or this article that he read, or this person that he heard. Let me kind of go do some of my own homework as well.
Right.
So all of that kind of sets the table for me.
I'm kind of saying whether, depending on where I'm going, if I'm going to a sports team, like you said, I'm going to have something that's going to have a bite. I want to have something that's going to be impactful, but it's going to provoke them to want to change.
Yeah.
So do you believe, based off what you listen to, inspires you to embody what you listen to so you can convey what you heard?
Oh, yeah.
Let it go through you so it can impact them as well, too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like I told my son the other day, he had on something Sunday morning he shouldn't have had on. I said, hey, what you listen to? He said, music. And I was like, what kind of music? He was like, just some music kind of get me going. So I went and grabbed the phone. I could see who it was.
Right.
And I was like, Negro, this ain't the music you listen to. We about to go to church in 30 minutes. Are you listening to this? No, let's put on something different.
Right, exactly.
I don't care if it's, I don't care what it is. If it's not Marvin Sapp, it's not Jacqueline Carr, whoever it is, we're going to put on something that gets us more in line with where we need to be centered and where we need to be grounded. And I told him, I said, that's not just on Sundays.
Yeah.
I don't mind you listening to your rap and your hip hop in the car, whoever your favorite artist may be.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you gotta balance that now.
Yeah.
You can't just have all this blaring in your ear
before you go to the house of the Lord.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
But even like just in your spirit, right? There just has to be a balance. And what I was telling him, even with school, balance it so that you're in a different place mentally, and you're not just in this state of heartbeats, edgy lyrics,
It
and
set
everything
the
else.
tone for where you're going. It's almost preparing yourself to be prepared for what you need to do. So I'm with it. Now, before we wrap up, I knew we had a very big weekend with the 60th anniversary over the weekend. And I love the way you introduced one of your Morehouse brothers. It was great to see. Tell me the takeaways, the good, the bad, and the ugly about that entire weekend.
Well, let's start with the good. So,
Okay.
The team and everybody did a great job pulling, all these great artists in for the Stars for Freedom rally. We honored some of the legends the night before at a reception at the museum, giving people their flowers while they're here. We've carried on that work since the movement over these last 60 years. And then, we had a great lineup on Saturday at Carver High School. Sunday, we had some young activists, Jeremiah Treacy from BTW. We had Jatan Bosby Gilchrist from ACLU. Cheyenne Kreisberg, again, was one of those that we honored Friday. She spoke on Sunday. And obviously, DeMart Liggins, who born and raised in Montgomery, ASU alum, and the CEO of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which Dr. King started, in Atlanta when he left Montgomery. So leading that movement, and then obviously having Martin Luther King III there.
Yes.
I thought the march was powerful from St. Jude to the Capitol. All of those things were good for me. The not so good to me was a lack of turnout. So I've seen more people at the Carver High School class reunion than I saw that what we had at Big Boy, Kayla Carr, Bishop, Pastor Jamal Bryant. We had all of these great, acts. That's right.
Pastor Mike, yeah.
Yeah, we Pastor Mike Jr., yeah. I mean, we had all of these great artists, but we didn't have the people that I thought would come out. And so, for us, one, you want to put on for Montgomery.
Right.
So when artists come, we had to show up. But two, we invest in corporate sponsors and private sponsors want to say, all right, well, Mayor, all right, you asked us to partner with y'all on this and to do this. Where are the people?
Right.
And I just think that between Saturday and the march on Sunday, and so I'm going to give a little I like to say I praise, but I pinch a little bit.
Right.
I'm a pinch now, all right? So just get ready for that. People in our city cannot take the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Movement with less importance than people who live outside of our city.
Wow.
So we have gotten complacent and comfortable. You wouldn't have myself, you wouldn't have these black judges that we are swearing in today without the Voting Rights March. You wouldn't have Sheriff Cunningham. You wouldn't have no C.C. Calhoun or Kirk Hatcher. You wouldn't have any of us in elected office. Right. They didn't have this 60 years ago. And they marched by the tens of thousands, right?
Yes.
Not having any of that, and they did those things. The least we can do
is show up.
Wow. Right? The least we can do in Montgomery is we talked about a Turkey Day Classic. We come out for those tailgates. We come out for, I'm not going to say the football game. We come out for the halftime show.
That's it.
And we come out and we put on our bets. The least we can do
is
be there and be present, because what bothers me is that you can look at some other communities, they appreciate what our elders did more than we do.
Yeah.
And so when we call them, they're like, hey, when can we be there? What time? How many people do you want me to bring?
Yeah.
And we don't have that same appreciation. So sometimes, you can enjoy the shade of trees you did not plant. And you can think that you're the one who did all the work when you're just enjoying the benefits of it. So how hard should it have been for us to pack out Carver High School on a Saturday afternoon, perfect weather, with A-list stars.
Yes.
And listen, there were some people who had to put out the last minute that I'm actually glad did not come, to be honest, because with the stars that we brought, we have relationships with them, with their management teams, that we can get them back if the city wants them to come back. But here's the point. We're not going to do that if the city doesn't show up.
Correct.
And what we hear so often is there's nothing to do in Montgomery.
But when we do something,
you ain't there. So then, it's like, well, I can't go to Coca-Cola. I can't go to somebody else and say, hey, we need you to do what you do in Birmingham. Well, in Birmingham, people are there. Here we're not there. So then you come on the activism side, and the activists aren't there to commemorate what allows them to be activists today. It's easy to be an activist on Facebook.
Right.
That don't take nothing.
That's it. Yeah, right.
That don't take nothing. Be an activist out here when you can't call up, the mayor or the pastor that knows the mayor or knows the sheriff or knows somebody on the police force, because you didn't have that 60 years ago. Yeah. So the activists aren't there. The church folks aren't there. The community folks aren't there. So we have to do better about our own history.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure that if we aren't guardians of that history, then who do we expect to guard it?
Correct.
And in this day and time, and this is my last point, in this day and time, I can think of no other time, even 10 years ago, because I was there for the 50th, when it was an okay crowd, not really much better then. And I said, well, maybe it's because the weather wasn't good, it was cold and all that. Not that that excuses it, but 10 years ago, 2015, I did that same march and have done it since then. I was like, okay, well, all right, the weather, that may have kept some people, they didn't really quite organize it. You didn't really have the whole political, corporate infrastructure. Well, we had all that. We spared no expense, and we didn't allow any of our partners and sponsors to spare any expense. Whatever you do in Atlanta, in Birmingham, New Orleans, you do here. And that's what happened. But the other part of that is we have to make sure that in this day and time when people are saying they're taking the Department of Education, they're cutting back Medicaid, they're cutting back school lunch, they're cutting back after-school programs and federal funding. They're cutting back things that keep our community going, that allow for some of our nonprofits to do the work that government can't, and even the work that some of the churches can't. Well, if they are threatening you with that each and every day, then how do you not show up on this day of the 60th anniversary to commemorate the Selma Montgomery Voting Rights March when we are benefiting from those sacrifices that those people made? So to me, that was the part that, you know, we have to be called out on. We have to have the hard conversation of if we appreciate what our political opportunities bring us, we appreciate what some of the policies, not saying they're perfect, not saying I'm perfect, anybody that's in elected office, but if we appreciate that proximity, access, and opportunity to bring funds to our community, to invest in community centers, to invest in programs, small businesses, entrepreneurship, you gotta be present. I ain't asking you to take no billy club to the head. I ain't asking you to take no fire hose to your back. I ain't asking you to deal with no dog biting you, no German Shepherd. But you have to be present and accounted for when it comes time, because when they're rolling this stuff back in this administration each and every day, for us not to be there to understand the power of protest that we are known for in our city, to me is an embarrassment. And to me, it's an embarrassment that we ought to take personally, and we ought to make sure that never happens again. That we don't show up when it was folks in our communities, in this neighborhood, barbershops, beauty salons, driving taxis, everything else, shiny shoes, that brave those hard challenges and threats so that we could be here today, that we can at least show up once. Really, we ought to do it every year.
And it was free.
And it was free. Great weather, no excuses to be there to walk, march, 2.5, 3 miles, which you need to get your steps in anyway. To do that on this day, to commemorate where we were then, where we are right now in this political environment, and what we need to do to get ready for what's to come.
I'm with it. Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm through preaching now.
This is the mayor's take. Show up, show out, but let's not forget it started here.
That's right.
It started here.
You gotta appreciate it.
You gotta appreciate it. So look, I love it. Look, stay tuned for episode 4. This is the one and only Stephen Reed, the mayor of the city of Montgomery. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for having me host you with this podcast. I can't wait for episode 4.
Oh, look, it's going to be good.
I got some more stuff. We got to unpack some stuff.
I know I didn't let you get to all the questions, but you got me going with a couple of those. So
I'm with you.
I appreciate it. We'll cover the rest next time.
Stay tuned for more information. Check out your local listings. This is the mayor's take. I want to say thank you so much to all the people that's behind the scenes that help make this possible. Thank you to Mayor Stephen L. Reed for all that he does. But stay tuned for episode 4. There's so much more to come forth with it. I will see you on the next time. Go be blessed.